So today we're going to be talking about this fascinating placement, which is Moon in Capricorn in the 8th house. The moon is traditionally considered debilitated in the 8th house or in the sign of Scorpio as well. And it's considered in falling Capricorn. The reason being is that the moon's sign is Cancer, and Capricorn is the opposite of Cancer. When the moon is in the 8th house, this is where we feel a lack of security. Instead, we feel this desire for resources or this desire for securities. This is the positive side of it. Because with a negative comes some other positive. So in this case, the 8th house moon lacks security or lacks a feeling of comfort or a feeling well, feeling fulfilled. But it does have an insatiable appetite for resources, or in this case, success. The moon rules resources and long-term investments, long-term, resources that we hold on to and that become inheritances for our children, things that pass down in the family, and also resources that we use to create with. So there's this desire to accumulate status because the moon is in Capricorn and in the 8th house, or there's this desire to accumulate some form of stability because you don't feel like you have it. And there's a lack here that is created. There's a sense of lack, which is created by your sense of obligation towards your career or towards others and what other people think of you, because that's what Capricorn is about. It's about the feelings of others. So when we have the moon here, we sense how other people think or feel about us. And it sometimes it throws us off, if we really want to sum this placement up short and simple, Capricorn has to do with authority, and then the 8th house has to do with control. So to sum it up, your security, which is your moon, comes from when you are in a situation that you have the authority to control things. You perhaps don't even relate through emotions. You just relate through desire and respect. And when you don't get respect, recognition that you deserve, it can make you angry, actually. So, this is like a super villain type placement. I'm not going to lie. But in the sense of somebody that has an insatiable appetite. And that has emotionlessness, So the moon also rules our upbringing, our family, especially the mother. But in a general sense, it could also indicate, being raised or having an upbringing by somebody like this, having an authoritarian kind of upbringing or being raised by means of authority and control. And often with this moon, people that have this can have a tendency to dissociate from their emotions. So perhaps you don't even relate to this aspect of yourself or this aspect of life. And instead, perhaps you play out more through different planets, other things in your chart. But there could be like a dissociation from emotion. There's also this desire, this emotional need to control things for humanitarian reasons, from your point of view, or in other words, for what you perceive is the benefit of all. So this could create an authoritarian type individual that needs at least to have that power in order to feel comfortable. And on the other hand, they want to be recognized for their achievements and for the humanitarian acts that they do. So there is a philanthropic side to this. It's not all negative, but nonetheless, it's just interesting. It's fascinating. What gives you self-esteem, self-worth, value is all the personal projects that you pursue and that you are invested in. But in this case, you're more invested into responsibilities and things that are your obligations, your work, your career, and also feeling responsible for a lot of things. So you're not able to pursue personal projects as much. Or perhaps you don't have that esteem to do so. You feel like you must cater to others and you must do important things. You must do things that matter to others. And this takes away the normal self-esteem that comes from the second house in Cancer. The second house is money. And then Cancer is personal projects, family, home life as well. Just a lot of different things that matter on a personal level. So invested, because second house is money, into personal projects, which is Cancer. But in this case, the moon is in your 8th house. So the ruler of your second house is in the opposing house. So you sacrifice these things. And you don't feel worthy to pursue those things, or you don't pursue those things because of responsibilities, which is Capricorn. But there is a strong understanding of people's psychology with this placement. You know, the 8th house is about the values of other people, their psychology, what matters to them. And so you seek to do things that cater to not only the responsibilities that you have, but that cater to other people's psychology and their values in a way to receive what it is that they can give you. The 8th house is about exchange. You're always looking for that exchange of status or importance or respect. You may constantly feel like you lack respect that you deserve. And it's like you're constantly striving for respect, recognition from other people, and for other people to take you seriously when you have the moon in the 8th house and Capricorn. You know, just in a literal sense or in a typical sense, this is one of the most powerful and successful moons. It brings enormous wealth, perhaps. It has that potential for sure, because Capricorn moons bring a lot of wealth. Because this is what happens when people's security becomes their work and their success. It reaps a lot of rewards. But also moon in Scorpio has an insatiable appetite. So this is enormous success, but it's also one of the most tumultuous and difficult moon placements. To have your moon both in fall and be debilitated, you know? So hopefully that filled you guys in, and it was interesting, helpful, or entertaining in some way. If you enjoyed that, consider checking out my Patreon, where, you know, I post videos on other deeper astrology topics or things that I don't post on my YouTube page. Recently, I covered the moon's meaning on a deeper level because it's such a mysterious planet and it's ambiguous and difficult to understand at first glance. And so I just made a 2-part series on it, and then I covered what it means in each of the signs on a deeper level. And as well, I'm doing a free natal chart reading or inquiry, you know, answering a question about charts or any type of question for people that sign up to my Patreon. So if that interests you, definitely check that out. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in another video. Peace.